which I wanted to ask you is, Babaji and Gitanchu Bhaiya, I get lot of queries on the base, and again, I'm pretty sure you must be getting a lot of queries on your channel. Bhaiya must be getting a lot of queries on his channel. They see certain videos and they say that I have Mars in certain house. Tell me about something about this, or tell me something about personal about my life. I usually don't respond to that because, first of all, I don't have that much time to respond on each and every personal query. Secondly, my brain does not work like, if Mars is sitting here, so tell me a few things about my personal life. Until and unless I have the actual chart in my hand and the full analysis that what drishti Mars is getting, what aspects Mars is getting, in what dignity Mars is sitting, in what nakshatra Mars is sitting, where the depositor is going, I cannot comment, I cannot make any judgment on that. So how valid it is to take one planet and start telling the people that this will happen in this way, this will happen in that way? Is it a fair? Is it fair? Is it a fair deal? That's what I wanted to ask you. Because to me, it does not work. I need to see the full chart. So I wanted to know how it is working for Gitanchu ji, how it is working for you.
I feel if somebody can say it from one planet, must be a very little thing, maybe a very concise amount.
Yes, a general, yes.
You are talking like we taken the example of Saturn and Moon. Saturn is placed in your 10th house. Where is Saturn placed? So you can say that Saturn in the 10th house will give this 5 things.
Right.
Fine. Right. I understand to that limit is fine.
But sometimes people go more deep into it.
You need a lot of information.
Right.
You need a lot of information. You need a lot of information for it. You just cannot say that, okay, fine, my Saturn is in, let's say, Kritika.
Okay.
To that matter.
Right.
So, is the nature opposite to it?
Right. Right.
Just by Saturn being in Kritika in the 10th house cannot tell you anything about the nature of Saturn.
Right.
You need a lot of information. You need a lot of information. So my request to all of our viewers and people who write to us is, if you give us an information which is not even 50%, let's say 0.1%, that please tell me about my Venus, that it is placed in this nakshatra and I'm not getting married. It will be very difficult for us to get back to you.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons that I generally don't write back to people with this. I just, I feel that this would not be justice to them. That
exactly.
If you speak something
exactly.
No knowledge about the planet. This is not even 0.1% of the nature of the planet, that this is in 10th house and probably my Saturn is in Kritika now.
Exactly.
I do not have the knowledge to do like this. Yes, on a general category, yes, you can talk about that this is Kritika and the planet placed here is something like this. You may experience certain things, but this is not at all necessary that this will go correct for you. Right. This is a general thing for, let's say, 20 lakh people, 40 lakh people having that particular planetary placement. But out of them, 10% only might feel this, rest may not feel it.
Yes. So, Babaji, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I also very frequently, almost every day, I get these comments.
I'm pretty sure about it.
Like you did video on Shravan Nakshatra.
Yes, and sorry to interrupt you. In that presentation, I intentionally not mentioned ascendant in Shravana because I did not wanted to spoon feed the audience. I covered all the planets in Shravana Nakshatra, but not ascendant in Shravana. And I was watching, a lot of people were asking you, but can you tell me that what if I have ascendant in Shravana? I was like actually they need the spoon feeding.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is
So
not the way it goes.
yeah, in a way, I always feel two things. The first thing is, in a way, maybe it's not their mistake, you know, because YouTube is filled with these videos. So there was one channel which I was seeing that how planets in every house. Okay, so there I saw about Mercury. Okay, Mercury in different houses. Mercury in first house, you are very talkative. Mercury in second house, your relatives are very talkative. Mercury in third house, your sibling is very talkative. Mercury in fourth house, mother is chatting all the time. Mercury in fifth house, children are very talkative. So then I was thinking, so then, wow, I mean, astrology was so simple, right? Wherever Mercury sits, that person is talkative all the time.
Very well said.
Then I was seeing this about second house, okay? Jupiter in second house, family is very spiritual, okay? Moon in second house, relatives are very emotional, my God. Venus in second house, relatives are very much prone to luxury, my God.
Too good, too good.
Okay, Saturn in second, relatives are very pessimistic. Okay, family members always negative, always pessimistic. Okay, but I was like, then we could make a software, you know, like Saturn pessimism, Mercury talkative. All right, so 1 second everybody knows what is going to happen in their life, who they are. So easy, I mean, it's so easy. So in a way, I feel, I mean, to be sarcastic here, it's not the fault of people who ask these questions because they have got used to seeing these videos where they will give one thing and then they will. And now let's take an example. Suppose I say somebody has Mercury in second house. Now that is 1/12 of the human population. That is around 0.5 billion people. Now what will happen? Suppose I make a prediction in that video. Mercury in second house, relatives are talkative. Okay, family members. Now among 0.5 billion, there will be minimum 10,000 people
Who will say yes to it?
for whom that will hold true, right?
Yeah.
If I say Saturn in second, your family members are pessimistic. Will that not hold true also for 10,000 people? So then what these 10,000 people will do? They will get faith. Oh yeah, this works.
Right.
This is right. Aisa hota hai. Then what they will do? They will say, okay, my Saturn is in second. Family members are pessimistic. What about my Venus? Venus is in 10th house. I'll meet a lot of ladies in my workplace, right? And then you go and you are doing an IT job where you are just, maybe there are no members of the opposite sex, or maybe you are into banking, or there, I don't know, whichever sector you are. And then you are wondering, oh, but I saw Venus in 10th house will give me a group of members of the opposite sex during my career. Where are members of the opposite sex? Why am I sitting alone here? Why am I lonely and doing my work? Well, what if Venus is your sixth lord? Sagittarius rising, you know, Venus the sixth lord. So then it may take you away from members of the opposite sex, men or women both. So that's the fun. I say when people ask me, then this was the first point. The second point which I would like to say is when you say, I have this planet in this house, what will be results? So then I feel like asking them a counter question. Results for what?
Right. Right.
Because suppose you have a planet in sixth house. Suppose you have Mercury in sixth.
Right.
Your co-workers are already very talkative according to that rule, but let's go. After assuming they are talkative, so you ask me what are results of Mercury in sixth, okay? So then results for what? Results for marriage? No, marriage may be denied.
Right.
For career, oh yeah, great. For health, yeah, not that bad. But results for what? Result Mercury in six, results for what? I mean, you have 12 areas in your horoscope, for God's sake. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So results for which area of life? So I think in that case, people expect that they will tell Mercury in sixth, tell for marriage, career, health, every area. But then it doesn't work like that, because you have to see which planets are supporting Mercury.
Absolutely.
Mercury being conjunct with his natural friends like Venus, Saturn, or is he with his enemies like the moon? Okay. Or he considers moon to be an enemy. Moon doesn't consider Mercury to be an enemy. For an example, or is he with the sun? Or is he with the 10th lord? Or is he with the Lagna lord? Or he is the 10th lord, he is the Lagnesh. Then it changes the story totally. You see, Mercury in 6th and Mercury as Lagnesh, Lagna lord in the 6th, changes the game altogether.
Yeah.
And where is Mercury's dispositor sitting? Where is the nakshatra lord of Mercury sitting? Mercury is placed maybe in Satabhisha nakshatra. So where is Rahu?
Yeah.
Where, because the nakshatra lord gives the energy to the planet. So where is the planet deriving the source energy from? If Rahu is badly placed, if you have Mercury in Satabhisha, badly means suppose Rahu is in 6th. Then for marriage, it's not very good, because 6th house can give you celibacy, separation from spouse. So therefore, you have to see so many things. The sign matters. Mercury is exalted. It is in friend sign. Debility. What? Then which planets are helping Mercury? Where is the dispositor? Where is the nakshatra lord? You must see all these things. Otherwise, if you just say Mercury in 6th, co-workers are talkative, well, I wish life would be so easy like this. So therefore, when you do all this, your predictions fail. That is why 2.5 years back, when my channel had started, I made a video, why predictions fail. Not that astrology doesn't work, but you are using astrology in a wrong way. You are not using it the right way, the way you should use it. Yeah. Seeing one planet and you are making judgments. And one more thing I'd like to say here, when you ask about career, there are 4 houses of career, 2nd, 6th, 10th and 11th. So don't always think that a planet in 10th house is the only planet which is responsible for your career success. Never think like this. Like for marriage, you have 2nd, 7th and 11th. The planet in 2nd house can also give you marriage. So you have to know that for one area of your life, there are multiple houses which are governing. So you have to study in totality which are the planets sitting in this 2nd, 6th, 10th and 11th, or where are the lords of these planets sitting. Only then you can know where you should go ahead in your career. Not like this, Venus in 10th, my career will be surrounded by members of the opposite sex. No, it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think this will give a very good clarity to the audience, to the viewers, to all the students of Jyotish, including myself, including Babaji, including Gitanshu Bhaiya, even though they are having more experience than me. But we will still keep continuing segments like this, hopefully, in future, with more guests, with more taboos which needs to be removed from the Jyotish dunya, from the Jyotish world. So I think
why don't we tell people to write in the comment section,
exactly,
what other things they are looking for the taboos to be broken.
Exactly, great point.
Difficulty where they face. I am sure the next topic is going to be matchmaking.
Right.
lot of queries matchmaking. Where moon is here, my partner's moon is here, my Venus is here, his Venus or her Venus is there.
Right.
These are all these are, so you can, friends, write to us in the comment section to any other thing that troubles you or trouble people at large.
Exactly.
I'm sure we would like to address it.
Yes.
It's a good thing that people come out with this is what their difficulty is.
Yes. And that is why I wanted to do this segment, was because there were many taboos. There are still many taboos, many myths, a lot of negativity. But the true purpose of Jyotish is, as I think, being a student of astrology, I'm pretty sure you will agree on that. It should not be there. It should come with more clarity, with more logical reasoning. That's all we want. So I thank you, all of you, along with the satsang, all the audience who were listening to us. Thank you, Babaji. Thank you, Gitanshu Malhotra ji, he's
Thank you for giving me the honor.
Yeah, thank you for giving us this idea. It was your idea. We do a video call that day, and then we were also planning to include Nitin Kashyapji, but somehow that could not happen. So yeah, and one next thing is we are planning to do another session with him of all four of us. So let's see if that happens. If the planets want that to happen.
so,
If
yeah.
Panchang supports it, we have to check the Panchang, right? If Panchang supports. Thank you very much for conducting this and giving this idea. It was a very nice idea to.
And also, I want to tell the audience, the another initiative was, in order to bring this segment, was to show everyone that astrology in reality bring us together, not apart us. So we are all one. We are all the students of Jyotish. Let's be in the same way and let's learn from each other. Just like Bhaiya said, do put your comments, what exactly real thoughts or real myths you have regarding Jyotish, so that we can work on the next segment.
Yeah.
So thank
Maybe
you.
all of them are not myths. Maybe some of them are right also. What people feel that's a myth.
Exactly.
Let them write to us. Let them understand.
Yes.
Let us get the feel of the people, that what they are asking for, what
Exactly.
difficulty they have in certain places.
Yes. So thank you, Babaji.
Very much. Yes.
Thank you, Gitanjali.
Thank you and pranam. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you also. Thanks to both of you.